Melanie Perkins was only a 19-year-old student when she realized people spent a lot of time learning how to use Photoshop, even if they only wanted to create simple designs. She realized that these complex design tools made life way too hard for wannabe designers. And it also alienated anyone who wanted to design something just for fun. She knew this was a problem that plagued creative minds.
This is fine.
Determined to bridge this gap, she sought a solution that would change the game forever. With fire in her heart and her eyes set on a goal, she embarked on a mission to unlock creativity for all, to create a design platform that was accessible and intuitive, that people could use to create great designs without enrolling in a course for 6 months. This is the story of how Melanie Perkins created Canva when she was only 19. Melanie Perkins was born in 1988 to a multicultural family in Perth, Australia. Her father was an engineer from Malaysia, and her mother was a native Australian and a teacher. Melanie showed an incredible entrepreneurial spirit even when she was very young. She had already set up her first business at 14, selling handmade scarves at local markets. But Melanie's dream was more than selling scarves. She was passionate about figure skating and dreamed of becoming a professional. She would even wake up at 4:30 a.m. for rigorous daily training sessions to make her dream a reality. But it wasn't meant to be. She studied communication, psychology, and commerce at university. But Melanie also started a side business. She taught graphic design skills to other students. But Melanie knew she didn't want to do this forever. Little did she know that this would lead her to an idea that would change the design world forever. You see, something bothered Melanie. She noticed that people struggled to learn how to use design programs like Adobe Photoshop. Most needed to spend an entire semester only to learn the basics. That much time just to find a few buttons. Melanie thought there must be a better way, or at least should be. She thought that in the future, designing was all going to be online and collaborative, and much, much simpler than these crazy hard tools. And as fate would have it, in 2006, while still at the university, she met her future husband, Cliff Ulbricht. Cliff shared her vision of creating a design tool that would be easy for everyone to use. They dreamed of bringing this tool to life and sharing it with the world. In 2007, they took a leap of faith and launched a yearbook design service. They called it Fusion Books and ran the company from Melanie's mother's living room. Why yearbooks? Melanie's mom was a teacher and she put an immense effort into creating yearbooks every year. So, Melanie and Cliff decided to create a tool that would simplify the yearbook creation process. Their idea was brilliant. The software would be free and accessible to anyone, and of course, easy to use. They bet that teachers would love using it to design yearbooks. But what's the big business in a free tool, you may ask? Well, if they wanted physical copies, they could pay for printing services. With little experience in running a company, Melanie and Cliff knew they needed to start small and grow gradually. Melanie was the mind behind the designs. Her parents ran the printing side of the business, and Cliff handled sales. He reached out to colleges and universities to gain new clients. Since they had no prior knowledge of coding, they needed help with the tool though. So they hired a software development company called In-Depth to help them. But it wasn't cheap and they had no money to pay him. So the next logical step was a loan. Their friends and family came up with the money so they could build their first version of Fusion Books. In its first year of launch, 16 schools signed up for the service, and within 3 years, it grew to over 100. It wasn't only the schools who caught up to their tool. In 2008, only a year after launch, they received the Western Australia Inventor of the Year award. By the way, did you know that you could design your own like buttons on YouTube? It only needs a click to turn this ugly gray thing into a cool blue one. And it also shows us that you like the content. Cool, huh? All right, back to the story. Devoted to growing the business, Melanie dropped out of college, and it wasn't in vain. In less than 6 years, Fusion Books became Australia's most popular yearbook provider. But Melanie wasn't one to lay back. She had an even greater vision: to make graphic design easy and accessible to everyone. So the couple began working on their next big project, Canva. The idea behind Canva was simple yet revolutionary. They wanted to create a platform that allowed users to design anything they could imagine. The main keyword in their minds was easy. They wanted to end the need for a big learning curve and create a platform that anyone can use. And thus, Canva was born. But as with any adventure, there were challenges. Despite Fusion Books doing well, the couple's funds were running low. So Melanie and Cliff started looking for investors, but it wasn't an easy task. Despite having Fusion Books as their reference, venture capitalists kept rejecting them. But Melanie refused to give up. In a twist of fate, an opportunity arose from nothing. A renowned investor named Bill Tye visited Perth in 2011 to judge a startup competition. Who do you think was competing? Exactly, Melanie and Cliff, who managed to pitch Canva to him during a dinner. Unfortunately, they weren't able to secure funding that fateful day. Rather than giving them any funding, Bill Tye invited them to kitesurfing gatherings, which turned out to be full of tech investors, so of course the couple were kitesurfing all the time. They also tried their luck in Silicon Valley but didn't find any. Many firms in Silicon Valley were also hesitant to back Melanie's vision of going against the likes of Adobe. Luckily for her, a former Google executive named Cameron Adams joined the team. His technical expertise and passion for the project brought renewed hope. With Cameron's help, Melanie finally secured the funding they needed. The first funding round was an overwhelming success as they received $1.5 million. But it didn't stop there as the Australian government matched that amount to keep the company on Aussie shores. And so, against all odds, Canva Inc. was born in 2013. Melanie became the CEO, while Cliff became the COO, and Adams took the position of CPO. In less than a year after its launch, the platform amassed 600,000 users. As the company continued to grow, more and more investors wanted to be a part of its success story. By March 2013, Canva had already raised an extra $3 million. And by the end of 2013, Canva's user base had grown to an impressive 750,000 users. With this growth, it expanded beyond Australia, opening offices in Beijing and Manila and embracing a global audience. Canva's success story continued in the next years. It secured even more funding and introduced new features to its app. This included a collaborative learning tool called Canva for Education. Now they attracted investors like Matrix Partners, Vayner RSC, and Blackbird Ventures. Even Hollywood stars like Owen Wilson and Woody Harrelson invested in the company. Canva's rise was mind-blowing, and its impact on the creative industry is undeniable. You want proof? Just search for Canva versus Photoshop on Google, and look at the number of search results. There are more than 77 million pages that come up for this search. But as Canva reached new heights, its CEO, Melanie Perkins, also caught the attention of the world. Even with a limited presence in the United States, she became a prominent figure in the tech world. She earned accolades such as being named in the Forbes 30 Under 30 list and the Forbes Top Under 30 of the decade in 2016. Yet, despite all the success, Melanie wasn't in a rush to take Canva public with an IPO. She believed in staying true to the company's vision and values and focusing on providing the best possible experience for the users. The following year, Canva raised an extra $60 million in funding. This made the valuation of Canva a staggering $6 billion. Talk about disrupting the design industry. Melanie understood that being open-minded meant embracing creativity and welcoming fresh ideas. She knew that to disrupt industries, one had to think differently. She needed to challenge the status quo, and so, armed with this mindset, she stood out on her entrepreneurial adventure. The result is that today, Canva is going head-to-head with industry giants like Adobe and Microsoft. Today, Canva is estimated to be worth over $25 billion. How about Melanie, you may ask? Forbes estimates Melanie Perkins to be worth $3.6 billion. Despite her success, Melanie remained grounded and committed to being an exceptional leader. No matter how busy she became, she personally welcomes every new hire to this day. This is no small feat as she now employs more than 1,500 people. Melanie and Cliff also pledged $12 billion to fight extreme poverty. They've also expressed their desire to donate most of their fortune to charity in their lifetime as they love helping people. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Goodbye, and see you soon.